we're going to look at multiplying two rational expressions. And notice it tells us to assume that all the expressions are defined. So we don't have to worry about figuring out a scenario where they might be undefined. We don't have to do that. So what we want to do is we want to look at these. And I always want to look at the coefficients to see if there's anything that I can reduce. So if I look at the 2 and the 3, there's nothing there. But now if I look at the 2 and the 8 here on the bottom, I know that I can reduce those. I know that 2 will go into 2 one time, and 2 will go into 8 4 times. And then if I look at the 3 on the bottom here and the 15 here, I know that 3 goes into 3 one time, and 3 goes into 15 5 times. So now if I multiply the coefficients, I have 1 times 5 is going to give me 5 over here on top. And on the bottom I have 1 times 4 is going to give me 4 here. Now notice the 5 and the 4 cannot be reduced any further. So I'm okay with the coefficients. Now I need to come back and concentrate on the variables. So on the top I have x times x squared. Well, if I'm multiplying the same bases by the exponent rules, which x and x are the same base, if I'm multiplying, that means I add the exponents. So I have x to the 4 plus 2 power. And then notice I have just a y to the 5th. This is still multiplication. So I have to carry out the y to the 5th over here as well. And then if I look at the bottom, notice I have the same base, x to the 2nd times x to the 3rd. So that gives me x to the 2 plus 3. And then again, I'm multiplying, so that's times y squared, so I have to bring the y squared over. So now I want to simplify a little further. So I'm going to go ahead and add the exponents. So I have 5x to the 4 plus 2 is to the 6th power, y to the 5th, over 4x to the 2 plus 3 is x to the 5th power, y squared. All right, so I've got that part of it done. Now I need to go and look at the division part. Notice I have an x to the 6th on the bottom, and x to the 5th on top, or x to the 6th on top, and x to the 5th on the bottom. And remember the rules for exponents when I'm dividing the same base, I have to subtract the exponents. So that's going to give me 5x to the 6 minus 5. And then also I include the y this time. I have y to the 5th on top, y squared on the bottom, so that's going to give me y to the 5 minus 2. And once I do that with the exponents, I don't have to worry about the x and the y on the bottom anymore, but I have to bring the 4 over because I haven't done anything with it yet. So now I have one more step. I'm just going to simplify. So I'm going to have 5x to the 6 minus 5 is to the 1st power. Remember, when it's an exponent of 1, I do not write it. It's understood. And then I have y to the 5 minus 2 is y to the 3rd power over 4.